I think we can move on to right, G-Man versus Baldrick. I believe will be our
Yeah,
next set.
the only copper match in existence will be next set here. Baldrick versus G-Man coming on up. We'll have to see exactly how copper is potentially shaping out to be. This could be quite literally the only copper match ever played for season 4. Bold claim to make week 2 po noob, but I'm putting myself on the line.
Steph's around. Steph won't leave us. Yeah, so Baldrick is notably one of the Polish bros. Him and Marimo joined in last season in a division that had Steph and ML 726. These guys are really fresh. They make a lot of plays. I really do enjoy watching their play. And Baldrick did end up getting second in that division, promoting himself into what would be G-Man's division, where I believe G-Man in what at the time was Copper, still in Copper, and I do also like G-Man's play. I think G-Man's play, from just looking through the stats last season, was a bit moody, beating and losing to every single opponent except for the one that he beat and tied. Didn't have a single opponent where he beat them twice or lost to them twice.
So all in all, what I'm hearing here,
any given day,
Baldrick most likely going to be the favorite for us, but this could be G-Man's win over Baldrick as well. So we'll have to.
Yeah, I would say Baldrick's the favorite, but G-Man on any given day can really throw some punches. It's going to be G-Man's game to win or lose, in my opinion.
All right, well, G-Man, the wild card of Copper. Let's see how the draft did play out. It does look like Baldrick will be spying first and also gets to pick first as well. Not entirely sure how that coin flip did go down, but the ban from Baldrick will be Pub, followed by a high-rise ban from G-Man. Baldrick then going to pick up Ballroom as his double map, with G-Man picking up Modern. And then the single maps of the series will be Baldrick's pick of Library, followed by G-Man's pick of D-Dust 2 for ourselves, I mean Courtyard. And we'll have to see how far this series does go. Very, normal map picks, apart from that blaring double that is going to be played on Modern.
Yeah, doubles on Modern are definitely tiring. It's a 4-minute map, and because of how long it takes spies to get to places, unlike say Library, it's gonna take the full 4 minutes a lot of the time.
I'm really excited to see a modern competitive match come out through, especially for some veterans of the SCL and some uprising stars. Let's kick it over though to Ballroom to kick this series off with Baldrick spying first on Irish. We'll have to see exactly how these copper matches are shaping up to be. You know, technically pwned, this could be the match that sends someone to a final in copper. If someone is able to take the series lead. So let's count it down. 3, 2, 1. Playing it. Baldrick, Irish with drink in hand. How is he going to start the game off?
Okay. Curve off the windows. Copper is brutal, by the way. So in this division, Baldrick and Marimo are both. I played them both in Summer Cup, and I had to really study up because they are really clean players. They don't let you play a bad game and win very often in this division. And while she got third last season, she absolutely destroyed. Got a Purloin going off. Why am I talking about things?
Baldrick does not care about your story. He's a white Purloin into a gulp. Doesn't seem like G-Man has thrown any highlights out yet, but I do believe that was him confirming that the guest list is now gone. Only highlight so far is to Plain Twin. G-Man in a conversation with his seduction target as well, and the flirtation cooldown about to expire in about 10 seconds time. We'll have to see if he goes for the seduce into potentially a middle statue inspect, one of the things that I feel like the more experienced players do when they find themselves with a hardtail completed is then rush down those soft tails, look for that contact the double agent, the seduce, and the inspect. That was a reverse drive-by bug. Never mind. What am I saying? Let's just have a 2 hardtail game. That was beautiful stuff coming out of Baldrick, completely unnoticed. And now all we have to do is
There's
finish
no
us.
way to see it. So Baldrick, he had the option to time it where his right arm or left arm would go out. I believe it was his right arm, and the right arm was completely behind the pole and orange dress. It was unseeable. Uh, Behind the back bugs are a thing that Baldrick is very prone or able to do and catch on the sniper side.
Yeah, definitely gonna get a replay of that in full sniper view once this game does complete, so that we can really just see what G-Man had on offer. Potentially even look at it from multiple angles to really find out where that had to be really hard. Those behind the back bugs find. The banana bread does come through. Does look like the seduction target has left the conversation. One more flirt does us here. And there she is, all by herself. And a low light for her. With a minute left on the clock, plenty of time to find that seduce.
The red test banana bread, he did do the coughing animation and it was on screen, but it's one of those things that comes out of the blue. You never really expect the cough to happen, so you're never really prepared unless you happen to already be looking at what the coffee, I'm not sure. Just need to get
Yeah,
this
I feel
flirt
like
done.
when it comes to the red banana breads, the cough happens as you know that the cough happens. And so if you don't actually see it visually as it's happening, then you can end up having a missed shot. 20 seconds on the... Oh, it's a missed shot coming out straight away. Rocker middle statues was high on the suspect list. G-Man, really good timing on the shot, Pwned. That was about to be the flirt completed and the mission win coming through as well, but it just seemed like the AI was a little bit more active than Baldrick towards the end.
This was the shot I was kind of expecting when we casted the ballroom game in the challenger set, where BB's done, Purloin's done. It's really hard not to shoot, especially if someone goes to statues late, and that's precisely what happened here.
Wow, looking at that bug back, that is actually completely invisible on the screen for G-Man. And if you pop it into interactive sniper view and bring it all the way around to the left, which I think is probably the place where you would have to be to actually see it, even then, it is relatively invisible. Just a frame of hand popping out. That is a very clean bug from Baldrick. The only part of this set that was unclean was really that red cough. But even so, standing behind the pillar, very difficult to actually pin down onto Irish, especially if you haven't suspected her before that.
Yeah, if you're going to be hitting green tests and making behind the back bugs, you're going to win games. That's not unknown. It's just G-Man's job here now to break back and get his ballroom spy win.
Well, let's see if he can do it. Heading into the next set of this, it will be G-Man playing Walt Disney, Pencil Stash, Andrew Ryan, The Spy, as far as the Spy Party trailer is concerned. Here we'll have to have that spy win. That's the great thing about spying first for Baldrick, is the fact that he has already got a point up on the board. Now all he has to do is have some clean sniper play, and that is the series completed for us, Pwned. So let's get on into it. It is going to be G-Man spying in 3, 2, 1. Playing it. AI controlling his way. Sorry,
what?
what?
Need to shoot him for having a green arrow above his head. I don't understand.
Just shoot the spy. It's simple.
This is a good flirt to start. Unfortunately, white, so only 34%, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, a white early enough is pretty good, especially if G-Man actually is allowed to kind of just idle in this conversation with Queen. If the seduction target wants to be a babe, then all she has to do, Queenie here, all she has to do, royal lover, is stay put. But G-Man's not one to idle. Over to the side statue we go for an inspect. And get one of those done, potentially 2 if he wishes as well. And that's actually 2 inspects done in a single idle animation there, or animation cycle for the statues. So Nice pacing for G-Man. Puts himself in a good position to get that third inspect and maybe even a statue swap later on.
A bit unfortunate. It looks like he didn't highlight
Oof.
Irish for going to
Oh no.
statues. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, you can't do this
Oh
against
no.
Baldrick.
Yeah, so that
Bumped against Baldrick, especially something like that. Um,
So going
but
from very clean bugs to visible bugs here. G-Man, his attempt on this reverse bug. Let's actually pop it into free cam just for myself only. So G-Man may have not actually meant to do this. When you actually look at what happened here, he begins flirting, and then the seduction target leaves the conversation. Now, if you're flirting, that means you're clicking right click to start the flirt, and then clicking a second right click to complete the action test. And if the action test disappears on you as you're trying to complete the flirt, then the next thing that's going to be available to you is a bug. So I actually think that's what's happened here, because G-Man can clearly see he's not in range for a bug, is that the seduction target leaving the conversation as the flirt happens has caused G-Man to then accidentally right-click for a bug. And of course, Baldrick's going to punish that.
yeah, no, against Baldrick and Marimo, they have a very what's the word I'm looking for? They played each other a lot. Like half their games are just against each other, and specifically, both of them are very good at catching reverse drive-bys, and both of them are very good at catching BB splits, presumably because they like doing reverse drive-bys and BB splits a lot.
Yeah, no,
And by
I
the way,
think
it's
that's
fantastic. I has the best death animation possible.
Thank you for that freeze frame. It's beautiful. So yeah, I think that's really unfortunate. If my deduction is correct, G-Man's going to be feeling a little bit robbed there. I can hear Crazy Kaylee screaming in the background, "Action priorities!" Let's get on to the next game, as it is going to be Baldrick up 2-0 with him now spying for us, and of course playing none other than Danny DeVito, Mr. Smallman, the Penguin. Let's see if he's able to make this a cleanish set on Ballroom. He's already 2-0 up in the series. Let's count it down. 3, 2, 1. Playing it. Baldrick AI controlling.
Last set. And I'll say
Potentially
it again. If your opponent doesn't highlight for being little man in the first game, in the second game. Now that I've said this, I'm not allowed to do it ever again, but so be it.
Love it. So, Baldrick,
Master,
a flirt from across the circle. That's going to be a green. What was that, sorry?
Take a drink. Would have been a nice fingerprint.
Yeah, Baldrick would have had to have downed his drink and then taken a new one. I don't, in this position, I'm not sure Toby can actually offer him. Is this going to be a bug attempt? It wasn't a bug attempt, but it was a failed bug attempt. No heat, seemingly, though. Small man is small. All right. Joining the conversation with the seduction target once more here. So this is going to be 2 across the circle seducers. This is the white test, though, putting us at 71%. The earlier one was a green test, meaning that we are well and truly within 3-foot range at a reasonable distance. Baldrick, of course, if he wants to do it across the circle like this, would have to hit a green. This ambassador has been standing very still, which could be great or paranoia for the sniper. I think this position with a very full conversation circle is probably paranoia. So the reposition of the ambassador probably going to help us out. But Baldrick's nowhere near Toby or the ambassador. He's currently swapping statues. That's a green pending swap on the far left statue. And it doesn't seem like he's even got heat for being there. The great thing about small men is that he is small and he kind of hides behind conversations. So now with Cowboy swapping that side statue for us, we'll have to see how G-Men does react to seeing that statue has been swapped. Currently, Toby blocking it. That's a highlight for the Cowboy as well. Baldrick really just playing the innocent on the other side of the map.
I think G-Man's got a policy of highlight for statues, so that we don't have a highlight.
Oh, that was a bug.
That bug was amazing.
That's two two bumping ambassador bugs that we've had. So far, with a minute left on the clock, Baldrick has managed to swap a statue and bug the ambassador. A flirt up to 91%. Now we're just looking to complete our mission set here. Here comes a fake banana bread contacting the double agent. Now it's meant to be a fake. It's meant to throw G-Man off. What Baldrick doesn't know is that Morgan Freeman here, Kane, Papa Danger, is in fact a suspected double agent. So G-Man may still be suspect of Baldrick for that. This is a green purloin of the guest list. Baldrick going for hardtails only here on Ballroom. Is it disrespect, or is he trying to tilt at G-Man? You know, taking 2 wins and then completing his last win with 3 hardtails.
As long as he gets his flirt done, it's going to be a bit of a chase, and our legs are not as long as we wish they were.
All right, well, let's see how he does play this one out. 11 seconds, waiting for the seduction target to settle in a circle. Baldrick being very active with his map movements. Oh no, it's a briefcase. He has to contact, he has to inspect, he has to do something! Baldrick left it to the last second, and Baldrick will be punished.
Baldrick,
3 hardtails, but not a
lose.
mission complete.
The double agent up to at the end of that game.
That is that's really unfortunate. Yeah, double agent was at statues. The seduction target didn't want to stand still. Small man's leg is small, and that is a damn shame, Pone Noob, to have completed 3 hardtails here on Ballroom and then timeout as a spy.
Outs to G-Man for not shooting someone. I think the issue he had is really he didn't know who could have swapped, because it clearly wasn't eventually. But with swap done, purloin done, banana bread said, and for him not to shoot, completely lost and given up, or I think more accurately, prime patience.
Yeah, so I wonder if he ever saw the swap happen by Cowboy there. You know, it was very busy towards that side of the map, and looking through the sniper's eyes, I personally didn't feel like I ever got a good eye on the statue. So G-Man may have not noticed that the statue was swapped for quite some time there, but massive respect for not shooting. Now has an opportunity to actually tie us up with his spy round here. Going to be playing Irish for our last round of Ballroom. So let's count ourselves in 3, 2, 1, playing it. G-Man just needs to make sure that he stays on top of those action priority menus. Goes for a green out of the time, so that's 45 seconds added to the clock as far as the spy is concerned. The sniper's clock is actually now going to slow down by half for the next, how long would it be? A minute and a half, I suppose, until it catches up with the spy's clock, and then we'll go back to normal time.
Perfect. So he gets the green time ad, thankfully doesn't white, because front window's time ad is gross. The seduction target comes to him, and he gets the green on that, 51%. And then he gets a bug, which is basically unseeable, unless you're watching for it, because the pole was in the way. He's gotten incredible mission progress, and has more time than he started off with.
Incredible stuff for G-Man here. Some highlights on to 3 suspects. I think these people are all at windows as well. So potential that the time ad was spotted by Baldrick, but unfortunately the one person who done it isn't highlighted. G-Man now looking to just play things a little bit slower. He's already got that flirt up to 51%. Doesn't really have to rush on through his missions here. Drink offer does come from Toby. He's going to take the drink very quickly. Innocent drink take for himself. Now can potentially look to get that flirt progress continued as soon as Smallman does make his way into a conversation.
Yeah, when you say spotted, it's got the giant asterisk of G-Man has a bug done and doesn't have a highlight. I'm mad. I would like, given the last couple games, I would like to get a flirt done here before for our time, just so we can get it out of the way. These unreliable cast.
Well, he is going to do just that. Standing on the tippy toes, or tippy heels, I should say, of Seek, but is able to get the green seduction target flirt, meaning that that mission has been completed in just 2 flirts. Really great for G-Man. Now all he has to do is potentially get himself some fingerprints or a middle statue inspect, contact the double agent, and he's on a home run.
Yeah, preferably we'd avoid doing dramatic things like purloining or swapping, um, unless you're for example, you can go to mid statue and then swap if you think they're not looking. I think we just prefer doing mid statues and banana bread and
Wow.
not get shot. These
That
briefcase
is
splits back to back, by the way.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, no. So as Pwned has said to me many times before, he would just shoot me if he ever sees me do this, go from briefcase to briefcase like that. Unfortunately for G-Man, he's done it twice and had to split due to the AI getting there first. So that's 2 attempts to get a fingerprint failed. Does pick up a green book here, instantly puts it back without reading it, which would be fairly suspicious if the highlight was there for G-Man and already Baldrick had heat on him. Instead, there is not that, so that is a free fingerprint for a G-Man. Now, rejecting Toby the waiter, leaving the conversation, will potentially go straight over to this blue bookshelf or the statues and look for some more fingerprints or mission progress.
Yeah, the ambassador's still holding the book, so I don't think the fingerprint exists yet, but definitely something that he's eyeing up.
37 seconds left. An innocent watch check. And that is going to be G-Man marked as less suspicious. Baldrick doesn't think he's been completing missions.
He hasn't.
And he has. I suppose that's true. For the last 2 minutes, he hasn't completed any missions. 20 seconds left, and I think G-Man is hoping for a missed shot. He's going to look for a potential banana bread here. We'll go for it. There's the briefcase on the ground as well. Maybe he actually can complete here if he gets the BB split into the fingerprint from the briefcase. Banana bread said. Instead, it's going to be a purloin attempt. A white test coming out of the low-lighted Irish, looking over at the guest list. He's going to make the shot onto Seek. The low light was definitive. And that is going to be G-Man tying up our series with a second spy win here for Ballroom. 2 apiece so far in this Copper Division matchup.
Spot is so hard. I think he had full vision on that list. He could have seen a white test, but it's really hard to go and say, you know what, I'm confident. I know what a white test versus a green test looks like. I'm going to shoot this low light. Instead, he shoots a highlight who took a drink recently or was offered a drink recently. It's a reasonable shot, but G-Man leaving it to the last second in a game that he started off really quick.
That's I suppose the what you earn from playing so quick at the start is the ability to then slow it right down and get that low light for essentially idling throughout the game. And Seek there, the missed shot that did come through for Baldrick was one of the suspected time adders right at the start of the game there, Pwned. Yeah, that's where it all comes back from beginning to end for both G-Man and I suppose Seek there. Baldrick was most suspect that Seek was.
Deserved to die. Let's not be wrong here. He was definitely the spy.
He was definitely the spy. I'd love to see that bug back if we can just get a quick replay on that because I will admit I completely missed it and I suppose so did Baldrick. But if not, that's fine. We can jump into Modern as well. I won't be too demanding. Modern, a map that we haven't really seen here in SCL, especially in the higher divisions of play. It seems like it's a fairly regular occurrence in Challenger, but outside of Challenger, not so much.
Spooky. It's big and scary for everybody involved. Baldrick playing Pearls, which is going to be a lot of distance traveled at a very slow pace. So good luck to him completing missions. And if we're ready.
We are ready indeed. Let's count it in. 3, 2, 1. Playing it. And I have to wonder if playing Pearl is a deliberate choice. The spy can't be Pearl, nor can they be orange dress or Modern. It's just too big. Really good start here for Baldrick. Off to the statues to get us a flirt with James Blonde here, Mr. U, Duke, or Prince, however you may call him. It is going to be the inspect as well. We'll pop that statue down. No highlights, though, from G-Man. Not too worried about any early statue touches.
Yeah, on modern, I've seen a couple of different ways people have done highlights. Actually, there's a Wodar set that I think we're unfortunately not casting, where he just decided to highlight every single person who went to bar at the beginning of the game instead of worrying about statues. I do want to see what he does end up using his highlights for, though, if it's not going to be statues.
Yeah, because it
We'll
seems
highlight
like
yet.
bar touches, bar people have not been highlighted. Book takers have not been highlighted. Man, Duke over in the far right corner, I'm not entirely sure if you guys saw it, was very suspicious. Grabs a
Exactly.
highlight.
I was looking at exactly the same thing. I consider that so suspicious that it's AI-like, where wouldn't a spy just go and stand on the other side if he wants to get that flirt? He is the one and only highlight. Purloin to make him go take it would be powerful.
So I don't think. Oh right, yeah, no, that's for sure. I was gonna say there's no way to obviously delegate from the window point, but if Baldrick was able to delegate to his seduction target, that would be great. And here we go. That is going to be the flirt coming through, and the delegate not to Mr. U, not to Duke. It is in fact going to go over to Plane Twin here in just a second. As I look into the future with my glass eye. Baldrick also splitting as he does perform that delegate action to try and really minimize any evidence that he has delegated here.
Rick, I think this is not unsurprising. Yeah. For me, he likes his BB splits, so that he's doing BB purloins, or not purloin splits isn't surprising to me either. Purloin does go off. List
There it is.
seen, highlight
Taken.
taken. I've also seen the future. I'm gonna just change to casting mode. Ding.
Glad to have you here. Yeah, that's a time ad also, a green time ad coming through for Baldrick. Now, on maps like Modern and Pub, when you do delegate the guest list, the fade is a 1 second fade. When you immediately take the guest list, it's also a 1 second fade. So you do not get any information whether or not that has been delegated or immediately taken. However, what you have to do is really just be paying attention to who's been to the bar. I believe mathematically, there's only the potential that 7 people could have guest list purloined if you've
Oh,
had a busy bar constantly. Usually, Toby takes around 10 seconds to offer to each individual guest from my mathematics. So 6 to 7 people could be your suspect, but that would require constant observation of the bar as well as a constant flow of patrons as well. The banana bread uttered, was that a fake? It was indeed. And some lowlights as well. As
these
well as
lowlights are
the man who
interesting.
delegated.
Um, Solve this game with some alibis, and he's getting good lowlights. Unfortunately, the highlights are on people that are not Baldrick. Missions currently.
It's really unfortunate that one of the lowlights was on to the man who performed the delegate of the guest list. This is the second time that Ducal Prince here has been given suspicion in this game, and I think if there was going to be a wrong shot, it would be on to him. Baldrick now completing his inspects. He did transfer the microfilm off the back of that fake banana bread, the contact of the double agent. The statues have been inspected. He has triggered a swap as well, and it's going to be a green swap. Popping that statue down, we have 20 seconds left on the clock. The missions now have been completed. We'll have to see which AI is chosen. Oh dear, it's going to be a highlighted Salmon Danger going over to swap our statue for us. 8 seconds, 7 seconds, watching that statue quickly, sees the green swap, and that is going to be a correct shot coming out of G-Man on to Pearl. Never highlighted, but good confidence that the swap was green.
G-Man's lasers the whole game. It's moving around a lot until that last 20 seconds where he was just holding, waiting for that swap to happen. If he could have done something distracting like a BB, uh, good on G-Man to be watching the most important thing that was happening in the game, the potential swap.
Very, very indeed. And when you look around the map, I'm not sure there was really anything else happening. Oh, never mind. There was Mr. Yu, Ducal Prince, heading over to a statue as well. Potentially completely unknown to us sniper. If that was spotted before Salmon was chosen to swap the statue, then there could be the argument made that G-Man would have swung over to see if that statue was swapped. Either way, really good stuff to spot that happening. And that is going to be G-Man securing our first sniper round on Modern. It's now time for Baldrick to pick up the rifle himself. G-Man will be spying on Rocker here. Very good spy choice, I suppose. You've got the benefit of having a really quick microfilm transfer if you did want to do two parts, although most people seeming to opt in for the straight up hard transfer by putting it into the wrong bookshelf. Let's see what G-Man decides to do. Counting us down, it's 3, 2, 1. Playing it. How will G-Man spy on Modern?
We had a conversation a while back where people asked, so who's the most innocuous? Day. Who's the sneakiest spy? The one that you think about the least? And I think it's Rocker. And people went and realized, oh, I didn't even think of Rocker when making a list of. I think she has the benefit there of not being based on someone famous, or at least having a name. Like Morgan Freeman or Queen are really noticeable because we have a name for them and they're memorable. Based on a ex-girlfriend of all things.
There you go. G-Man off to the bar here. What will he do? He's going to purloin the guest list straight away. No time wasting here. Baldrick, though, highlighting for it. G-Man does get stuck on the sofa. Now we'll have to see how he does play this one out. That's some very strange pathing, going all the way around the conversation to then end up outside. Usually an AI would choose a more direct path, especially coming from the bar.
Yeah, Baldrick's trying to find some more lowlights of people it couldn't be. He's gotten about 4 so far. Hard game for G-Man to complete missions.
Like we said earlier, I think the maximum possibility of a purloin at a bar is about 6 to 7 characters, and as you can see here, Baldrick has whittled it down to just 4 suspects for the potential purloin, and of course, I think you would be expecting that Rocker would be number 1 suspect due to the fact that it was an immediate purloin this early on into Modern. That's the only mission that's been completed, and we are 2 minutes off the clock here, Pwned. Usually,
yeah, G-Man's playing like he knows he's highlight, potentially just surrendering the game, hoping for a miss shot, because this is very inactive. That he's not going out of his way to flirting is.
I think that was a potential attempt to flirt, but Danny DeVito, unfortunately, Sunshine does. G-Man now over towards the bar. Will complete his first flirt of the game, a white test at 34%. We're a minute and a half left on the clock, and at this point, there is no hope that G-Man does complete missions. So, like mentioned, a miss shot is our best approach. Does look like Walt Disney gets a highlight, but Orange Stress was low light.
The option of doing time ads, but I think time ads would kill death. Okay, that's a safety off.
The safety came off onto Pencil Stash, Walt Disney, Andrew Ryan for half a second there. Oprah, curly hair has been reduced, but she then splits the conversation. That has to be a low light coming through. Maybe now we're potentially feeling like Oprah is our main suspect, but not to mention you did have Buns as well as Rocket in the conversation. Is G-Man actually attempting to complete missions here is the real question. Heading on over to the side statues. What will we have happen? Inspects both one white, one green. Will G-Man swap in front of our eyes? We only have 33 seconds left, and we have 3 missions needing to be completed. It's super unlikely that G-Man can actually mission complete.
Yeah, because even if he goes to the other statue pad, the closest one, and does inspect swap, he still doesn't have enough time for a 5th mission unless Ambassador literally walks over there.
Unless he adds time. Let's see. 12 seconds on the clock. Joining a conversation with the double agent and the ambassador. I think G-Man has potentially given it up. No, here we go. Green IM ad. Just out of time. What's the
Yeah,
time on
Rocker
Rocker? Is
has
it 6 seconds?
it's stupidly long. So instead of going and checking a watch like a real person, she goes and checks her cell phone like a pleb. Where it's like 4 to 6 seconds.
Right.
Usually the green when you do a green time ad, it's usually 3. It's one that I think someone pointed out to me very recently, and because this happens, you try and do a time ad at the end of the game, you just run out of time.
Yeah, so that was triggered at 3.3 seconds. The green completed at 2.6 seconds, and then unfortunately for G-Man, time did run out, meaning that we've had sniper wins so far on modern. We'll have to see how the rest of this double map does play out, as it will be, of course.
Baldrick on. Actually, who is this? Wheels.
Wheels, yes, for our second spy round from Baldrick. Wheels is a character that I avoid, Pwn Noob. I feel like if you're not confident in your pathing, then Wheels' kind of movement, the way he kind of scuttles around the map, can be very obvious to a sniper, and so any missed paths kind of get screamed towards the sniper's vision.
I live in a world where Wheels is the new art orange dress, and when I say that for our new people, I mean the person who, when I'm playing with my friends, they go, "It's Wheels." I'm like, "No, it's not Wheels." And they go, "It's Wheels." I'm like, "Okay, I'll shoot Wheels," and it's not Wheels because it's never Wheels. Except for this case, it is Wheels. On your count.
And playing it, Baldrick on Wheels, chasing down his seduction target to the green bookshelf here.
Countdown from the start, please.
Back over again. 3, 2, 1. Playing it. And with Baldrick heading on over to this green bookshelf looking for the flirt with the seduction target.
We didn't catch the countdown. You want to just start the game over?
Oh, are we good or not?
Over. We didn't hear the countdown. You cut.
Third time's the charm. 3, 2, 1. Playing it. And what I want to know is, how confident is Baldrick in early microfilm transfers? You know, you've got this this really good seduce option onto Salmon here. It is going to be a white, putting us at 34%, but also taking a book out this early gives you the opportunity to potentially go join a conversation for a little bit and then return that to the blue bookshelf. Also bumping the ambassador, but with book in hand, very difficult. And the camera shake from Baldrick pretty much says to me, I made that pathing mistake Dowsey was talking about earlier.
Yeah, when you're trying to like do your wheelchair thing and then someone walks at you, like in real life, nobody's silly enough to just walk at the guy with the wheelchair, but in Spy Party, the ambassador is very rude and walks straight into him, makes it very awkward.
Do you think this is a purposeful thing from Baldrick, making the ambassador the previous spy, or am I reading too much into it?
But
Either way, fingerprint attempt coming up for Baldrick on this briefcase. Stops immediately as the ambassador starts moving, pops it down.
where seduction target's going, he can be a bit patient so he doesn't have to insta-talk.
68%. In a conversation with a suspected double agent now. Baldrick has a book in his left hand, which he'll want to get rid of, especially into either the red or blue bookshelf if he feels confident enough. He's kind of just looking around the map, seeing where the real double agent is. Of course, remember, whilst we know who the suspected double agents are in the form of General and Alice here, Baldrick doesn't, and so the only thing he knows is that Teal or Mum, however you refer to the character, is a double agent and will be constantly keeping an eye on where she goes around the map.
Yeah, if he was crossing fingers hoping that the double agent would come into his conversation, it was never going to pan out. He doesn't know that. This is going to be the book return. I think blue to green or green to blue are the most classic. And Wall. He's being nice and patient about it.
Pops it back in. So
That looks
two
fine.
book reads, basically just saying, very confident. You're going to get shot for just landing on the pad. So by doing two book reads, you basically keeping to etiquette there, not rushing anything. The rushing would probably give more suspicion to the sniper than anything. Baldrick now.
It's a balance between trying to make it that you never get seen in the first place and immediately just slamming it in versus doing it etiquette correctly where it came from, then you want to do that. Nice little green time ad. I think it's necessary because we're still running low on time, that we have a lot of half missions done.
Yeah, and that's going to be Baldrick now chasing down Salmon, the seduction target, to try and finish off this flirt here. Has only one mission completed, a fingerprint, and the seduce will come through in half a second here. Of course, with that time adding 45 seconds to the clock, it means we now have a minute and a half to complete the remaining 3 missions here on Modern. Would be a pretty tall task, does mean rushing around a little bit, and so Baldrick's just trying to look around the map and figure out his pathing choices. Could do a drive-by onto the ambassador here, could look to join the conversation with Teal or Mum. The ambassador does split, so it does look like it will just be a double agent contact instead.
Yeah, so he has a good banana bread here lined up. It's his choice if he wants to wait for his seduction target to get back into conversation to keep that alibi going for him. He does.
A white test, and let's have a look at the lowlights that do come through. One, potential for 2 or 3 more onto Orange Dress, Walt Disney, and Taft, as well as Oprah at the bar. So potential of 4 lowlights, but only a couple there. Now we're lowlighting for innocent banana breads, figuring that at this point in the map, an innocent banana bread would give us likely not to be a spy. The guest list did get delegated whilst this was all happening, Ponoob. I did miss that. Now Baldrick's head to the bar, demands a drink, and we'll look to get that fingerprint from Toby here. Fingerprinting the drink, success. Just before we get to 10 seconds, there's no overtime clock.
Yeah, this is the hardest fingerprint in the game to catch, where you've already purloined, so there's no reason for anybody to go back to bar. Sniper is not going to be watching for it, but there is a reason to go back to the bar. It's called the last fingerprint. Really clean end to that game. The purloin was nice, the banana bread was nice, and the fingerprint to end the game really closed out a game that I think we've seen the ball be dropped here in many sets where you have to do 4 missions in a minute, and a lot of half missions. AI were nice, and he does a really good job there. I really like that game.
Yeah, and the one thing that stands out to me for Baldrick is just kind of his patience whilst in conversations. Constantly scanning the party, planning his routes. It's so important in Modern that you know exactly what you're going to do for the next 2 moves at least, I feel. I'm going to go from this conversation to that conversation, and constantly scanning the party to make sure it all lines up. Really nice stuff. Gets that transfer done. The purloin successful without a hitch, meaning that he doesn't have to go to statues, doesn't cop any highlights whatsoever for being at a statue. And that's probably a dream come true for any spies on Modern, is kind of that undetected gameplay. And now heading to our last round on Modern as well. This is G-Man's chance to tie us back up 1 apiece. Pretty much the same scenario that we were in before Ponoob, except am I lying? No, G-Man.
G-Man was up 3-2. Baldrick's won the last 2 games, I believe.
Right. Yep. That's so.
Baldrick's definitely up 4-3 though.
4-3. Right.
I was counting.
Yep. Me too. All right. G-Man playing Irish here. We'll have to try and get a spy win to equalize this series. Was able to do it on Ballroom before. Let's see if he can do it on Modern as we count ourselves in 3, 2, 1. Playing it. Irish a fairly strong character in pretty much every department, but also suspicious because of how strong she is.
Like her. She's fun. We've done a lot of early time ads, and I think we've greened all of them. G-Man, now I'm playing a 4:30 game instead of a 4-minute game. Busy bar to know. This is when there's a lot of people that go to the bar early. How you treat the guy who just swapped the statue.
Wow. Straight up statue swap right at the start of the game. See what Baldrick thinks
really
when he sees that.
the old womp 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 zoom in. It's going to be hard for G-Man to pull off this game. Uh, Fingerprint's always a good start, though. The sneakiest of the missions.
Heading over to the bookshelf to get the second fingerprint as well. I think at this point, Baldrick's pretty much in his head confirmed that Irish is likely to be the spy. 2 fingerprints and a very quick book return as well from G-Man is only adding to the suspicion, and there it is, straight up a book. Was the death of Irish. Aggressive fingerprinting after the swap, and Baldrick will take the lead in this series after our doubles, up 5-3.
Yeah, it looked just like he was gaining the confidence to make the early shot because there's no point in waiting around for him to do something else if you're that confident. Want to take a breather in the middle of the set. I did love that zoom though. The
Straight onto the statue.
wow.
It's like, something is not as it seems. Also worth noting, second Irish pick coming out for G-Man. Maybe something that Baldrick would have cottoned onto. Especially we'll have to see as we jump onto our single maps. You wouldn't read too much into it?
I wouldn't worry about it. No.
Yeah, okay.
And is the sort of player who I would expect him to pick the same spy a couple times. But I wouldn't read into it as being more likely. I would say maybe he's less likely to pick. Wouldn't make much sense. Would be a more behavioral read in my mind. We're moving on to library, which I think we saw some library earlier, and hopefully we can get some quality spy games like we were having from the Challenger set on library.
Right, yeah, no, very aggressive Challenger games on a library from Fancy Pants and Pashix earlier today is going to be Baldrick's map choice of library for the first of our single maps, followed by G-Man's choice of courtyard. However, with Baldrick up 5-3, 2 wins here would put the win in his court. So we'll have to see exactly what Baldrick can do. Spying first, playing Alice as we do get on into library. Let's count ourselves in. 3, 2, 1, playing it. Alice, of course, the graphic artist's character model after a loved one, I believe. A girlfriend, was it? Current?
And I believe they're still together. Ooh, that quick book. A bug.
Unfortunately, the ambassador was pretty much locked out on leaving, but instead it will be a fingerprint. G-Man currently just getting his lowlights onto cast members, potentially missing this information. Baldrick stopping just outside of range of the ambassador. That's going to be a fake lowlight into a highlight. I don't think Baldrick liked that whatsoever. However, from my point of view here, Pone, that was relatively a good briefcase play.
A bit sooner than that. Or at least that's what I would end up doing.
It was the fact that the ambassador had the drink in hand that really caused question whether or not an AI would have continued moving until they started their animation to actually pick up the statue.
The visit to the back window with a book without doing anything. If you're not gonna time ad, you're not gonna
a bug attempt as well.
May well assume that you've done one of the two though. That bug didn't stick. It wasn't seen. It is Baldrick special though. He's gonna do as many behind the backs as he can get his hands on.
Yeah, is limited with book in hand to just the ones that are coming from from his right, I suppose, our right as well. Baldrick now looking to place that green book into the yellow bookshelf. Has held onto it for 2 minutes now. That's the real question. Are we dead? The highlight did come through for the briefcase return in itself. Seems like with the book put into the yellow bookshelf, we are alive. The first hardtail goes off, and we're good. Here comes the second attempt at a bug in the same position, and again, another failure, but could go for another. There it is. Yeah. It sticks. But right inside the vision of our sniper. Did G-Man spot it?
The answer is no.
The fact that we are still alive, I think.
If G-Man's shown patience. If he's suspicious of the microfilm, suspicious of the bug, a good no shot. It might just be waiting on the banana bread or mid statue are going to be the two things that telling.
This is our
And
first flirt at 1 minute and 15 seconds in. It's a 51%. Unfortunately, the double agent did sunshine us. Baldrick's looking at that side statue which has the fingerprint on it and considering whether or not he should go get that fingerprint now. The ambassador at the green bookshelf as well means that there's a fingerprint to be had there. Many fingerprints around the map for Baldrick to get. Does kind of path through the conversation, but AI will do that. What is he doing? Adding time. It's a green watch check, meaning
done
that
a
the
single
sniper's
watch
clock
check
will
that
slow
hasn't
down.
been green.
I don't think so.
I mean, it actually have a much better success rate with time ads being green myself. I think it's because it's not a mission. You're not as nervous. Uh,
That
just
was a
Purloin.
purloin, by the way.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
running with Toby. If you're gonna do a Purloin, he's clearly running with Toby because he wants to get the flirt on. But getting as far away from the list
Oh
is always
no,
good.
no! Wow. Okay, so we need to talk about what just went down there because
Do.
for those who are unaware of the green purloin mechanics, and if we can get a replay going as well, the fade will happen at a random time every time. It's not the same every time, you know, the green purloin fade. It happens any time up until, I guess, a certain point, and it happened at pretty much the last possible moment whilst Toby's tray was swinging, which makes it look like a white fade to even the most trained sniper's eye. That is a super unfortunate circumstance. It was also just after G-Man had reduced the heat levels onto Teal. So then to see that happen under his eye forced a shot. And that's I guess just how the green purloin works.
Yeah. I think my set's gonna be casted tomorrow, so I won't spoil anything.
Yeah, so that's about as late as a green purloin could start. And you know, you may argue the logic that because a green purloin does start late, whereas a white purloin pretty much starts as soon as the drink is taken, then you have that confirmation that is a green. But when the tray is moving like that, the actual ability to 100% confirm in your head that the fade is not happening is really, really difficult. It's basically an illusion at that point that you see the fade happening as soon as that tray does stop moving, and you kind of justify in your head that was a white fade, a long 2-second fade, and that's just super unfortunate for G-Man. Now, the argument could have been made that he could have held off and waited, but on his clock, we're at 34 seconds left, and Teal had clearly been doing some stuff around the maps and had justification to be shot. So you always have to make
The
that
banana
shot.
bread was about the banana bread was about to happen, and so I feel like Teal was likely gonna get shot if he held the shot anyways after the banana bread.
Right. Also in a
Green
conversation
purloins
with the
are
DA.
good. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, green purloins are good. And she also started talking immediately after taking the drink. It was like, if she wasn't shot for the purloin, she was likely to get shot regardless. Baldrick takes the spy win here on a library, and now will be sniping up 6-3 against G-Man, playing Plane Twin for us to try and keep himself in this series, try and force the tie. We'll have to see if he can do it here. This is obviously the first Copper Map division, and the winner of this will be taking first place on that leaderboard, which is obviously a great way to start the season. Let's get on into it with G-Man Spy. 3, 2, 1, playing it. G-Man starting. Currently AI controlling for quite some time. Does take over and stutters as he does so, but usually
And
those can go
doesn't
figure.
yeah. If you're gonna AI control, give it the time to let the AI do whatever the stupid thing it wants to do. In this case, we're going for a bug and a highlight.
No. Yeah, the bug and highlight does come through. That's not the greatest way to start off your game.
So G-Man coming in with the Jason Bourne strategy of do everything really quickly, compared to say like a James Bond strategy.
Oh no, straight into a white purloin, into a fake banana bread with a suspected DA in our conversation. The words are muttered, and that will be the end of it all. Fast and Furious, too fast, and Too Furious, Reckless from G-Man, and Baldrick will take the first Copper division win 7-3 over G-Man.
Good set by Baldrick. I wouldn't uh doubt G-Man to come back from this set, and I would say G-Man at this point is a dark horse in what is a very tough division. Divisions are tough though,
I
so
mean,
it's not really saying
what
much.
you have the brothers in Baldrick and is it Marimo? I cannot.
Baldrick and Merimo, and then Steph with her
Steph,
10,000 games
the
officially.
gatekeeper of SCL in her own right.
And the
There's
other
been
red.
lots of discussion whether or not,
And
realistically,
Trevor,
Steph probably could have been higher.
if Trevor does show his face, Trevor did win Challenger. So it's two division winners and a person with 10,000 games, and then Baldrick, who it's not a fun group for G-Man. It's not like he played poorly here. Baldrick just on point. I don't disagree even with the rushing missions. It's just you gotta not be seen for the bug. You gotta green the purloin.
Well, that was a very solid set. But speaking of solid sets, it's now time to jump in.